Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Albaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Albaugh.
Good morning across the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. I'm Todd Albaugh. It is Monday, April 24th, 2023. Welcome back into hour number 3 of the big show, along with our producer and engineer, Mr. Aaron Zommers. Mr. Zommers, we have arrived at hour number 3 on what's turned out to be, so far, a very sunny and nice morning here in Madison. I know that's not the case in much of the state, but here so far, very nice.
Yeah, it seems to be. Once again, from the security camera view.
Yeah, poor Mr. Zombie. It won't be long. Another month or so, hopefully, month and a half, you'll have your own beautiful window on the downtown studios in State Street in Madison, Wisconsin.
Very nice.
Yeah, looking forward to getting down there at some point, but I will miss, I like being street level here because you get to, people walk by and they wave to you in the window. I feel like a zoo animal. So I get away from my cage.
Or yeah, sometimes you're there and they see you and they get curious and then they go and look at the papers that show the show schedule. They're
right.
Like, what's going on here?
I feel like I should just be picking gnats out of my hair, what's left of it. Just doing zoo animal thing. Just right around my cage. Wouldn't it be fantastic if people just sit out there and watch me? I feel like, that's what they kind of do in some of these bigger studios, right? Like on TV and whatnot.
Yeah, we should have a live studio audience.
I want to do that. We at our old show down at UW Platteville, the old Sunday night show, we would have some weeks it was a little sparse, but there were some weeks we had 50, 60 people in the audience.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes on Welcome to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Sometimes they do it like live from a bar or something, and then they've got a live studio audience and they take people's questions.
That was very good, Mr. Sommers.
Was it?
Yeah,
right.
you're really improving on that. I thought Crudy had walked in the room for a second. 8 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock. Weather forecast for you around the state. First of all, in Richland Center, WRCE. News from the center. Scattered rain showers, perhaps an isolated snow shower. A high of 51 degrees in Richland Center. For tonight, scattered showers continue, then mostly cloudy later on, early morning hours. 29 for a low. Tomorrow, Tuesday, partly sunny and a high of 49 in Richland Center. Up in Bull Falls Radio, WXCO in Wausau, Wisconsin. A slight chance of rain or snow showers. No real accumulation, just kind of in the air, making it nasty outside. A high of 43. For tonight, a chance of rain or snow showers, a low of 29. And for Tuesday, partly sunny and a high of 46 degrees. Over in Amory, WLAK, Lake Air Radio there. Snow and rain showers throughout the day, scattered throughout, as I said, the day, rain and snow showers, a high of 45. And then for tonight, clearing later on, a low of 26. Tomorrow in Amory, sunny skies, a high of 48 degrees. So it improves a little. Going to be a wet week overall, though, so be prepared for that. Some flooding in low-lying areas, especially along the Mississippi and Wisconsin rivers, parts of it there. Be aware of from flooding. We're going to come back and talk about our old friend, not really our old friend, Mike Lindell, who got himself into a little trouble, has to pay out $5 million. Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy. So we're going to talk about that. Also, Mr. Zommers and I are going to talk a little fishing. And later on this hour, Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, of all things, is under attack. I will defend said product as I drink a case of Miller High Life. No, not really. Wouldn't that be a show? See how many Miller High Lifes it takes for Todd to get loopy on the air.
How many Miller High Lifes it takes for us to either get an FCC violations or to just pass out?
I don't think it's an FCC violation. Well, I mean, if you start saying things you should.
Yeah, exactly.
That could get us an FCC violation. News headlines quickly. President Joe Biden preparing to formally announce his bid for a second term this week. Sources say that final edits have been made to an announcement video likely to be released tomorrow, marking 4 years since Biden declared himself a candidate for the 2020 presidential election. House Republicans are abandoning a years-long push by their party to pass a federal abortion ban and are exploring other ways to advance their anti-abortion agenda, a remarkable shift that underscores how the GOP is wrestling with how to approach the topic ahead of the 2024 presidential election. Sudan now, after a week of heavy fighting in Sudan between rival military factions, the Biden administration moved to evacuate U.S. government personnel from the region over the weekend. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says that all U.S. personnel and their families have been evacuated, and the operations at the embassy have been, quote, temporarily suspended. NBC Universal CEO Jeff Shell stepping down after an outside investigation into a complaint of inappropriate conduct at its parent company, Comcast. It announced yesterday the CEO said he had an inappropriate relationship with a woman in the company, which he says he deeply regrets. Ukraine, the Russian foreign minister, will chair a UN Security Council meeting today as tensions continue to rise between Russia and several UN countries over Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. Russia leads the council this month due to procedural rules, presiding over a body where members have slammed its war. This comes as Russia is also threatening to terminate the Black Sea grain deal, viewed as critical for solving the world hunger crisis, if Group of 7 nations ban exports to the country. In July 2022, Ukraine and Russia established the Black Sea Grain Initiative, a deal brokered by the UN and Turkey aimed at guaranteeing safe passage for ships carrying grain and oilseeds, some of Ukraine's most important products. There you have it. Also, the memoriam, as we said a little bit earlier today, sad news from Dancing with the Stars world. Len Goodman, the longtime judge on Dancing with the Stars, passed away over the weekend. He was 78 following a battle with bone cancer. Len Goodman of Dancing with the Stars, dead at 78. Come back, talk a little fishing, talk about Mike Lindell and the champagne of beers. This is the Todd Albaugh Show.
Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me.
Welcome back to the show. It's 10:15 on the Todd Albaugh Show. That, my friends, classic hee-haw. Right there, the old CBS program on Saturday night. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Wow. Junior samples there probably on that one, and great cast of characters from my childhood. If you're not familiar, Google it up. Dial it up, but lots of people in gloom and despair this morning. First of all, I just want to put a button a little bit on this story we talked about earlier in the show on the Tennessee legislature, and talked about how not believing in climate change and whatnot. Kind of reminds us of another story out of Tennessee. 98 years ago. 98 years. Tennessee enacted, quote, the Butler Act. It was called the Butler Act, making it illegal for teachers to teach human evolution in any state-funded school. So you see, this obsession in Tennessee and other places with not wanting to teach about science is not new. But it has a twist. High school teacher John T. Scopes was found guilty and fined $100. $100 back, 98 years ago, $100 means still a lot of money. But think about that, $100 98 years ago. The trial served its purpose of publicly intense national publicity, in large part due to the high-profile lawyers in the case. William Jennings Bryan, 3-time Democratic candidate for president, argued for the prosecution. This drives home the extent to which the two major political parties have changed. Think about that. 100 years ago, it was the Democrats who were fighting against science and saying that we don't want to talk about human evolution. Think how much has changed in 100 years. Again, people want to talk about the Republican Party, want to know why I left the Republican Party. That's a great example. The people who use the moniker, the people who run for office using the moniker GOP Republican Party, the grand old party, they ain't those kind of people anymore. 100 years ago, it was the Democrats who were arguing against science in Tennessee. 100 years later, now it's the Republicans who are arguing against science in Tennessee. Kind of an interesting little factoid. Over the break, Mr. Zomer and I were talking fishing, and I think this warrants a little airtime. I alluded to this last night. I said, I used to go fishing a lot as a kid and growing up. And then the DNR gets involved. And we got to have a conservation warden on. We got to book a conservation warden on because I have a list of questions I want to go through with them. And this is one of them. Because I'm the kind of guy that I just like, we used to call it, we're going to go out and catch a mess of fish. We're going to catch a mess of fish. Going to get some panfish, some crappies, some bluegills, maybe a couple of bass. You take them home, you fillet them, and you got yourself a nice fish dinner. That's it. And the most enjoyable part of fishing for me is just being outside, casting a line from the bank or in a boat, having a beverage, enjoying some friends or family, and enjoying the day.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
There's nothing like taking the boat out on Bearskin Lake up north.
Nice.
And,
Bearskin Lake.
Yeah.
Really? Is that where the name came from? All right. Very
Perhaps.
good. Very good.
Trojan Bearskin Lake.
One size fits all. Very good. Did you? So you went on Bearskin Lake up there in northern Wisconsin. It was a good time had by all. And
BEAR.
BEAR. So there's you get a bear skin.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like a big old bear.
Like a bear skin.
Big bear chased me.
Oh my, 3 bears. That's a line from Modern Family. Anyway, so fishing. And here's what happened. The DNR got involved, or somebody did. And now, in order to go fishing properly, you have to take a kit. You have to have a ruler. You have to have a compass. You have to have a weight measuring system. You need to take an accountant along if you're smart. I may be exaggerating a bit, but the point is, you got into all this, the catch and release. You could only have 3 fish that are 6 inches and 2 that are 8, and then you had to do a sex check and a species check. And I'm obviously blowing this out of proportion, but the point is, it got to be that you didn't. One of the reasons I quit deer hunting is because it got so complicated, you didn't know what you could shoot, legally or not. And then you had chronic wasting disease and all that. But I'm not for poaching. Obviously, I'm not for wiping out species. I guess the problem is people were going and taking home 100 fish a day or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and so a lot of the limits do make sense, but I guess then again, I didn't have to read through them because my dad just knows them because he reads up on them and stays up to date.
I'm not gonna take home a 4-inch bass. I'm not gonna be doing that. I'm gonna take home a fish that makes sense. I think that's where a lot of this comes from, right? People just don't have common sense. If you just use common sense, you don't need all the rules. So I don't know. We need to have a game warden on, or they call them conservation wardens now.
Which I think that's good because their job involves more than just stopping poachers. At this point.
100%.
So,
I'm just saying I'm old and I still occasionally use the old terminology of game warden.
I mean, I do too, just because that's what I always heard.
Right. But now, yes, their job is much more diversified. So it's conservation warden. That is the correct pronunciation. Want to move on to this story of Mike Lindell. Didn't have time to pick this up last week, but it's a great story. And the edition I'm reading from is Rolling Stone. You don't read enough. I don't read enough Rolling Stone lately. It used to be Rolling Stone was a big magazine, not just for music, but for other articles. And it seems like we don't hear a lot about Rolling Stone anymore. So this one is from Ryan Bort and Aswain Soosbog. Well, I probably murdered their name, so I apologize. Anyways, from Rolling Stone. Headline, Mike Lindell ordered to pay $5 million to Trump voter who debunked his election lies. So if you've been living under a rock, I'll explain it quickly. Mike Lindell, you've seen him a million times on your TV. He's the My Pillow guy. The guy with the dyed hair and has the cross necklace and the blue shirt. And he says, well, here, use this pillow. And he created the My Pillow, right? Which largely is kind of a scam. But anyway, that's a story for another day.
Well, it's a decent pillow, but it is expensive.
Yes. they created pillow. I think that's fair. Some people like them, some people don't. They have sheets. They have My Pillow shoes. They have insurrection gear. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe. Anyway, here's a story from Rolling Stone. Fox News isn't alone in having to pay millions of dollars for lying about the 2020 election. My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell was ordered last Wednesday to pay $5 million to Robert Zeidman, a 63-year-old Trump voter who debunked Lindell's claim that China interfered in the election based on data Lindell provided. In a strange story, it started in August of 2021 when Lindell claimed during a cyber symposium in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Let me tell you, if you haven't been to Sioux Falls, you should go there. My sister went to school there in Augustana College. Saw a great Garth Brooks concert with Brooke Dobbs at Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Anyway, it was a cyber symposium in Sioux Falls, South Dakota that he had data, that Lindell had data proving China interfered in the election. Lindell said that he would pay $5 million to anyone who proves him wrong, dubbing the contest, naturally, the Prove Mike Wrong Challenge. The Prove Mike Wrong Challenge. That's what you got to be careful. If you throw things out there, if you're a public personality and you throw things out there, you got to be careful. Zeidman signed up for the challenge, which required only that the contestant prove that the data Lindell provided did not have anything to do with the 2020 election. Let me say that again. Zeidman, the Trump supporter, signed up for the challenge, which required only that contestants prove that the data Lindell provided didn't have anything to do with the 2020 election. Zeidman, a computer forensic specialist, did just that. He found that the data was total nonsense. Lindell refused to pay up. So Zeidman took him to arbitration. The arbitration panel ruled that Zeidman did indeed prove that the data in question, quote, unequivocally did not reflect November 2020 election data, ordering Lindell to pay within 30 days.
So then that's like if we are like, hey, we got a Brewers family 4-pack of tickets. All you have to do is call in with this trivia thing. And then they call in and we're like, I don't want to.
Right. Pretty much.
Except times $1 million.
Yeah, $5 million. So this is how, I love this story on so many levels. But one of them is, this is how disturbed some of these mega people are. Like Lindell and Rudy Giuliani and whatnot. They either are so stupid that they think they can say anything and people are never going to check them, or they've actually convinced themselves that these lies are truths. But Lindell puts this out there. The My Pillow guy says $5 million if you could prove me wrong about the 2020 election. And it took a Trump supporter. This is not some liberal Democrat. This is not a Hillary person. This is a Trump supporter that said, wait a minute, I'm a computer forensic person. I'm going to look into this. And he proved Lindell wrong. Quote, the truth is finally out there, Zeidman, this guy told the Washington Post in a statement, adding that he, quote, is really happy with the decision. Lindell doesn't seem very keen to abide by the decision. Quote, it will end up in court, Lindell said in a statement to Rolling Stone. Just another attack to try to stop us from getting rid of the electronic voting machines. Asked if that meant he was having his lawyers file a challenge immediately, Lindell simply said, yes. Even in the aftermath of Fox's mammoth settlement last week with Dominion Voting Systems after a bruising and often embarrassing legal fight for the network, Lindell remained determined to keep aggressively pushing election denialism and baseless conspiracy theories last week. Shortly after the news broke on Thursday of the order for him to pay up, the pillow mogul said Trump friends started telling Rolling Stone about his upcoming August Election Crime Bureau Summit. He just won't stop. He's holding what he's calling an Election Crime Bureau Summit, where he claims, quote, it will be over finally with all the attacks, and that I will be vindicated, and all the media can apologize afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
Lindell is no stranger to court. The conspiracy theorizing pillow magnate was sued for defamation by Dominion and Smartmatic voting systems over false claims that the companies helped rig the election in President Joe Biden's favor, which is false. Lindell made the claims, though several outlets, including Fox, which Monday settled their own Dominion lawsuit to the tune of $787.5 million. Back with more. Sing it, Mike, after this.
Down the hill about 12 o'clock, I sat right down on a great big rock. I looked down in the water and bless my soul, I seen a great big catfish jump in that hole. I'm a-going to fishing, cause everybody's fishing, and I'm a-going to fishing too. You bet your life that your loving wife might catch more fish than you.
Welcome back to the Tom Ball Show. It is now 10:33 on the Civic Media Radio Network. A little fishing song there. I never did a lot of catfishing. Did you?
Nope.
No, I never. The stingers, on their heads or whatever. And
I've done some catfishing, and once we did it with Boy Scouts. We just were on a camp out, and there was a dam that had a bunch of catfish by it. So we brought along fishing poles and stuff, and we had one guy in the group who just got stung by like every catfish. I didn't by a single one.
Wow. I have a couple of times. Not fun. But I find the fillets they're kind of doughy. They're not a firm fish.
We were just catching and releasing anyway.
All right. See, I eat fish. So
oh yeah, it's tasty when you can.
Have you ever? What's it called? There's a name for it. Where these people they go in and they try to put their hand in these muddy underground layers along the bank, and they catch fish with their bare hand. Basically, the fish bites their hand, and they pull the fish out. There's a word for that. I can't think of it right now.
I can't think of it either, but no, I've never done that.
I would never do that. Forget it. Are you kidding me? Put your hand in there, let a fish grab it and pull. Oh no, never.
You got to really know what you're doing, because if you did that with like a northern or a walleye or something, you're not going to be happy.
You got one hand left. No, these are like basically a catfish, where they're kind of like more than gums, but they're not going to bite your hand off. But it's just ridiculous. I'm not going to. We should have somebody that does that come on the show, because I like to hear more about it. I just don't want to do it. I think it would be weird. But anyway, talking about Mike Lindell before the break there, this lawsuit where he said, prove me wrong about the 2020 election, and I'll give you $5 million. And one of the Trump supporters did that because he's a computer forensic scientist and used Lindell's own data, the MyPillow guy, proved him wrong, and now the arbiter says Mike Lindell has to pay him $5 million. So Mr. Zommers dialed up the old MyPillow site over the break, and Mr. Zommers, what did you find?
Well, first of all, the website is kind of an aesthetic nightmare. It's like the colors, whatever. It's purple, it's blue and pink, which fine. But all the images have different resolutions within the image. So basically, you'll have a picture that is best sheet prices ever. It has a picture of all the different colors of sheets. And then it says as low as $29.98 with promo code. And specifically the part that says as low as $29.98 with promo code is like low resolution and blurry, and the rest of it's fine. And then the picture next to it, the part that says as low as $35 with promo code is clear, but the part that says my slippers is blurry. So it's not even consistently bad. And then it has bad grammar, like talking about Mike Lindell has a book, and the section for his book does not say like, what are the odds by Mike Lindell? It just says Mike's book, and there's no apostrophe.
It's a nightmare like Mike Lindell is. Here's a couple of the best parts you told me over the break. What is the price for standard 2.0 pillow?
The current all-new MyPillow 2.0 is perpetually buy one, get one free.
I guess $45. Or, I'm sorry, I guess $69.99 for a price.
And it is $89.98 So
$90.
$90 for 2 pillows.
And you want to know what the My Pillow is? Here's what you can make your own My Pillow. Go to Walmart and buy a couple of yards of fabric, and then go to your local carpet dealer and get some of that pink foam padding they put down underneath of it. Take that pink foam padding down, get a scissors and chop that up, and then sew it into a couple of pieces of fabric from Walmart. And for $5, you got yourself a pillow.
It works.
That's what the My Pillow is.
He found something that does work, but it's not worth $90.
No. But the best part. Tell them what the best part you found.
Let me see. What was the best part?
the cutout.
Oh yeah, you can buy a life-size cardboard cutout of Mike Lindell holding his pillow. You've probably seen this exact picture. 6 feet tall, and it's $39.99, and I want it so bad.
I'm like you said, if it wasn't giving $39.99 to Mike Lindell, but I mean, I think we could use this in our new studio. Just to make fun of it all the time. I mean, having a life-size cutout of insurrectionist Mike Lindell.
Give him some different accessories now and then, like switch out different hats and stuff.
Right, exactly.
Oh, also, I finally found the difference between the classic, the legacy My Pillow, and My Pillow 2.0.
And what is the difference?
My Pillow patented interlocking fill uses 3 different sizes of foam to perfectly adjust your individual needs. So there's very small foam, medium foam, and large foam. So there's just different sizes. You can still make it yourself.
It's a grift. It's a grift. That's all it is. It's a grift. No pillow is worth $90. I'm telling you that right now. It just isn't. So
but it's 2 pillows for $90. Yeah.
You want to get it? Here's what you do. Go to TJ Maxx or whatever, get the closest one or Marshalls or whatever, and go to their bedding section. You can buy nice pillows for $12.99.
I do understand the struggle of trying different pillows.
Oh,
if maybe you have back issues or you just really need that neck support. I've been through that. My mom's had that. And she bought My Pillow a while ago because she was just kind of desperate. All the pillows she was trying were not supporting well.
Mike Lindell will try anything.
And she ended up not really liking it. So that was unfortunately a waste of money.
I'm sorry for your mom, but not
I think they were cheaper then.
Not a surprise, not unexpected. All right, moving on. Here's a story I've been dying to talk about. Found this over the weekend on Saturday. Belgium destroys a shipment of American beer after taking issue with champagne of beer slogan. Now, who in the world would take issue with the champagne of beers? Now, we've talked about, in fact, I think we talked about this at the Brewer game on our little tailgating we had. Mr. Mathers consumed a couple of beers in a very short time. He's very talented. He's a very talented guy anyway, but I found out he's very talented at drinking beer.
I'm pretty good at drinking beer.
Anyway, we talked about the fact that, Miller is no longer a Wisconsin company. I mean, still has facilities in Milwaukee, but it got sold out to this South African company. And for a brief while, Anheuser-Busch also owned Miller. It was all one big conglomerate. And now apparently it's been split again, and like Coors and now I think it's actually based in Canada. But they have, so I've lost the gleam has gone off the rose or off the lily a little bit for me with Miller products. It's not a Wisconsin product. It might be made here, but it's not a Wisconsin company anymore. But by golly, if a foreign company is going to come after Miller High Life, I got something to say about it. So here, Belgium has destroyed a shipment of American beer after taking exception to its maker's slogan that it was, quote, the champagne of beers. Belgium customers crushed the 2,352 cans of Miller High Life beer earlier this week.
Well, they crushed them as in they shotgunned them?
Yeah.
I don't crushing beers.
They didn't shotgun. I think they literally just industrial crushed them.
Also, if you don't like the slogan, I feel like you take that up with the company or you don't put in the order.
Right. The reasoning was that they were improperly labeled as champagne. All right. The move came after a trade association for the champagne industry complained that the term should be used only on bottles of sparkling wine made using a traditional method of champagne in France. By convention, True champagne, as in the French sparkling wine, can only be made using Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot. I've never heard of it. But Pinot, is it manure? This can't be manure. Can it be manure? Grapes. Anyway, the Committee Champagne, a joint trade association for the champagne industry, requested the destruction of the American beers, arguing that the label, the Champagne of Beers, infringed on the protected designation of quote-unquote champagne. Miller High Life was launched in 1903 by a Milwaukee-based firm. According to its website, it began to use the slogan, the Champagne of Bottle Beer, 3 years later, shortening it to the Champagne of Beers in 1969. The beers that were destroyed were headed for Germany, which is a little odd, right? With all the great beers in Germany, they're importing Miller High Life. But before they were intercepted in a port in Antwerp in February. So the Belgians just saw it. It wasn't even their beer. They saw it. They destroyed it.
How is this legal?
I don't know. On April 17th, the cans were destroyed, quote, with the greatest respect for environmental concerns by ensuring that the entire batch, content, and container is recycled in an eco-responsible way.
How do you recycle beer? Drink it?
I don't know what the committee said. Quote, each year, we're carrying out thousands of checks on designations of controlled origin, said Kristen van der Veren, General Administrator for the Belgian General Administration of the Customs and Excise. Quote, if a counterfeit is proven, as in the case here, they're calling it a counterfeit. We also consult each other on the destruction to destroy these goods and on the way in which we have them destroyed, which is code for we sat around and got drunk off of our rear ends drinking this beer.
Perhaps. I feel like if they're saying they're recycling the contents, the only thing I can think of is drinking it, because then you're using it, you know?
I mean, the backstory is, right, that and I kind of get it, because, you know, we've talked about, you know, not calling things milk unless it's actually dairy-based, and that we want, you know, Wisconsin cheese to have a Wisconsin moniker.
Which makes sense.
I get the true labeling. And I get for people in France that come from the Champagne region that they only want champagne recognized as, you know, those grapes and process of the champagne method. I get it in terms of wine, in terms of sparkling wine, fermented wine. I get it. But how in the world can that apply to beer? And you say that, well, you can't use the word champagne on anything but champagne?
It doesn't say Miller High Life Champagne. It says Miller High Life Beer, the champagne of beers. It's a comparison.
Your Honor, may I present Exhibit A? Here now, Mr. Zommers has dialed up a good one. This is one of the beautiful commercials during the Miller High Life heydays here in the state of Wisconsin.
There's one beer that stands out among the hundreds of beers that look alike in their brown and green bottles. That's Miller High Life in its clear, clean bottle. Because Miller makes it right, every glass of Miller High Life is always refreshing, satisfying, and really deep down good. Ask the man for Miller. For well over 115 years, it's been called the champagne of beers.
That is beautiful. That's a beautiful ad. I mean, and it's true, right? The Miller High Life bottles are clear. They're, I guess you could say, slightly shaped like a champagne bottle, maybe. More differently than other, like, you know, beer bottles. It looks a little different, a little crisper, a little clearer. I was trying to think you asked me when the last time I had a Miller High Life. It's been a long time. Probably.
It's just good marketing.
See, you're 100% right. Anybody who knows me knows that I am highly susceptible to good marketing. It used to drive my roommate Alex crazy. He'd say, you work in the industry. You know how it works. And you fall for it more than anybody else. And you know what? He's 100% right. I enjoy marketing, both creating it and consuming it. And you know, Miller High, it's not a bad beer. It's a crisp, light little beer. Not super high alcohol content. It is the champagne of beers.
Good to drink while you're fishing.
Great to drink while you're fishing. Absolutely. Of course, you can't take glass on the lake anymore, and I totally agree with that. I don't think they sell Miller High Life in cans.
They do.
Do they really? Wow. I would think that would kind of defeat the whole champagne thing, but I don't know.
Well, it sells, so they make it.
Well, they make it. So finish up with this story. The managing director of the Champagne Committee in France said the move is the result of successful collaboration between the Belgian customs authorities and the services of the Champagne Committee. Quote, it confirms the importance that the European Union attaches to designations of origin and rewards the determination
What about Germany?
of the inhabitants of Champagne to protect their designation. Exactly. What about the poor Germans who never got their high life? That's exactly right, Mr. Zommers. I am pro Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Back with more after this. This is the Todd Allball Show, and this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
When it's time to bite the Lord, the fish won't wait. I'm a-going to fishing, cause everybody's fishing, and I'm a-going to fishing too.
Welcome back to the Civic Media Radio Network, the Todd Allball Show. It is 10:50, and we have breaking news at this hour. According to CBS News and CNN, Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have decided to part ways. The network announced in a statement this morning, moments ago, Tucker Carlson's final show aired on Friday, the network said, quote, we thank him for his service to the network as a host and prior to that as a contributor, Fox News said in a statement. Again, breaking news at this hour, a developing story according to CBS News and CNN. Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have decided to part ways. Tucker Carlson out at Fox News. We'll have more on this story in the coming hours and throughout the day here on the Civic Media Radio Network. Again, Tucker Carlson out at Fox News. Time now, 10:51. Big news there, Mr. Zommers. Big news indeed. And very curious that this happens 1 week after Fox News settlement and the monster defamation lawsuit with Dominion Voting Systems for $787.5 million over the network's dissemination of election lies.
It's possible this was part of the settlement. They're like, you got to take this guy off the air.
Could be, right?
Otherwise, I could very well see him just being like, okay, I'm done, because he knew it was a lie. Right. He was like, this is crazy talk, but I get paid too much to not do it. And now he's like, oh no, the consequences of my actions.
Well, and it appears, again, this is a developing story we're going to continue to follow, and perhaps Kristen Bry and Jay McNair will have more on this as it develops coming up at a little after the top of the hour on As Goes Wisconsin. But I'm sure our other hosts will be covering it throughout the day as well, because it's big news for a couple of reasons. Tucker Carlson is the top-rated, or was the top-rated evening cable news host. Top-rated host on Fox, I believe, even outdoing Hannity. And to my knowledge, his contract was not up. So it wasn't, I don't believe it was a matter of not being able to settle on a new contract.
Also, especially seeing that, like, his last show already happened, not like an announcement that he'll have a final show. You'd think with somebody that big, they'd do like a goodbye.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, usually if it's amicable and both sides just say, look, this isn't going to work out, we've come to an agreement, I'm leaving the network, you're right. You're given a last show to say goodbye, to thank your viewers, to thank your staff. Hey, we'll catch you down the road. But no, Tucker Carlson not even given a goodbye show. Network Fox News saying at this hour his last show was Friday. So there seems to be more news here that is being told or that is being learned at this hour. All we know right now is that Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News, the network saying that his last show is on Friday. So you're right. Was that part of the settlement with Dominion? Were there other internal things where maybe Carlson was upset that Fox settled because it basically shows that, he was a liar, the information that came out that Tucker Carlson was a liar on the air. Again, as we were talking about climate change, facts, right? Indisputable things. There was evidence. And again, also, don't forget there's another lawsuit going on with this whole same issue of voting machines and fraud in the election. with another company for $2 billion plus, I believe. And all that information and discovery that was in the Dominion lawsuit is available to this next lawsuit. So maybe Tucker Carlson knew that there was more information coming out. And he wanted to leave before it came out. But again, the quickness that this is happening, and to Mr. Sommer's point, the fact that Carlson does not get a goodbye show, to me says that something suddenly came up, as Jan Brady once said, or Marcia. Something suddenly came up. So it'll be very interesting to see in the hours and days ahead what exactly is the real story. All we know at this hour, Tucker Carlson out at Fox News.
Or maybe we won't find out. Maybe he's going to Tijuana or something.
Oh, we'll find out.
He'll just disappear.
Things like this always have a way of coming out, especially in today's day and age. Very, very interesting news indeed. I mean, personally, it's great to have someone off the air whose business is to disseminate and to spread lies and misinformation. But just, as a person who follows media, television, and entertainment, this is a big, juicy entertainment story. What went on behind the scenes? Is this the Fox board of directors saying that after paying out almost $1 billion in the first settlement and probably going to have to pay out at least $1 billion in the second one, are they saying that maybe it's an internal crackdown? Maybe they've basically told all their hosts, hey, we can't afford $1 billion here and $1 billion here, so you got to change the narrative a little bit. Maybe Carlson said, if that's what you want, I'm out. I don't know. But
I'm sure he'll be on the Joe Rogan podcast next week or something.
Yeah, you're right. It'll be a round table with Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, Aaron Rodgers, and JFK or Robert Kennedy Jr.
And Mike Lindell.
And Mike Lindell. That's exactly right. By the way, Mr. Perry texted in and said he wants a life-size cutout of you and I.
Well, interesting.
Jeff Perry may be the only person that wants that. Coming up at the top of the hour, as we said, it is As Goes Wisconsin, another new edition, a new week for Kristen Bry and Jay McNair. Continuing breaking news information on Tucker Carlson and Fox News parting ways, as well as a great show coming up for you today. After that, then on Bull Falls Radio at 2 o'clock, it is Chad Holmes and the Chad Holmes Show live from Wausau. For the rest of the network, other than Bull Falls, it is Luke and Brian and Dueling Tangents across the network. At 3 o'clock, Matt Flynn Direct. At 4, it'll be Crudy and Dom with the Devil's Advocates. At 6, Native Roots Radio. And at 8 o'clock, it is Rick Smith across America. Another great lineup. And don't forget, now if you and the Civic Media Network is getting so big that it's pretty hard not to drive around in your car, your truck, whatever, and not get us over the air. But you can always download the Civic Media app. Take all of our great shows with you wherever you go. Listen to the podcast as well. Go to your app store on your smartphone. Type in Civic, C-I-V-I-C, Civic Media. Download that. It's free. It takes less than a minute. And open it up. Go to other stations. Other stations. Scroll down to WRCE, News from the Center. WRCE. Click on that. Make it your home station. And you can listen to all the great programming, including Mr. Zommers and I, 8 until 11, Monday through Friday. Also, Monday through Friday, 11 to 2, As Goes Wisconsin with Kristen and Jane. They are next. Again, continuing information on the breaking news this morning. Tucker Carlson out at Fox News Network saying his last show was Friday. He does not get a goodbye show. Tucker Carlson, Fox News. Done. We are done as well, but we'll be back tomorrow, unlike Tucker Carlson. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate you. Thanks for Mr. Perry for checking in. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, this is Todd Allball, Mr. Aaron Zommers. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Remember, whatever you're believing in, don't give up. Keep banging on your drum.